Yo, alright, we got the rise and fall of Fortnite's biggest team. Now, this is a video made by Elite Esports, so I mean, it's a little interesting that an org is making a video on another org, but I'm here for it. I want to check this video out. Sub up to the channel if you guys are new. Please just go K-Dog in the item shop if you guys want to support me even more. Let's get into it.
The Pete stuff. It's very mean.
All this drama, all these months, and this beef.
Bro, I used, like, Agent had some crazy... Okay, bro, Agent was a really, like, controversial team, bro, but they had some fire content.
Toilet.
Let's see if he actually left the. Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Bro, hello. Why are we showing this? I don't want to see that.
AMP or sidemen of the Fortnite community turned into a nightmare for everyone involved. Loads of betrayal, negotiating behind others' backs, and straight Bucke style snaking, but IRL instead on Fortnite. Within a span of a few months, Agent went from becoming the next FaZe clan to falling completely apart. All the progress Rad made was just gone. And if it couldn't get worse, EXD's house that they bought out from Agent became a war zone, filled with arguments.
Does EXD even still exist, bro? Like, I swear EXD lasted for what, like 2 months and then they were just gone?
Starting between everyone involved. Friendships were completely shattered over money.
Every single time he would go out the room, he would say, "You pie, you're broke, I'll buy you."
Egos clash.
Is he talking about Peter right here? That's kind of crazy.
Just the global's ego. He's Jesus, you know.
And people were even stealing each other's girlfriends.
I know. I literally flipped my brother, just flipped my ex, bro.
You could really say the house had
I remember when that happened. That was
no
crazy.
Shields in their relationships. Nobody has really looked into what happened to the Esports World Cup champions, but the amount of drama that took place behind the scenes was huge. Beef with Peterbot,
the Esports World Cup champion. I swear.
Everyone involved. Now to fully
understand
what happened to EXD Peterbot, we need to go back to the start of it all. Early 2024, a new org came onto the Fortnite scene called Agent, run by Rad. Typically, Fortnite orgs that come out of nowhere sign a few players and just vanish naturally by realizing they actually don't know how to run an org.
And also because pretty much none of them are profitable. Like, it's very hard to have a profitable Fortnite org in 2025.
Realize that these Fortnite pros' egos are bigger than most NFL or NBA players too. And honestly, this is pretty true to an extent. These kids grow up with millions of impressions weekly and entire fandoms worshiping them. For example, Peterbot has his own fan page from this guy on X named Stack. So when you're 17 and already more famous than over 99% of your peers, it's honestly not hard to move around like you're LeBron. But see,
I mean, but the thing is too, a lot of the people that are like sports famous, like a lot of them are famous since they're like children too, like 16, 17 years old, and like, I don't know, some Fortnite kids have some crazy egos, but like a lot of them that I've talked to are usually pretty chill.
Wanted to build the best team in
I think it just depends on the type of day they're having.
Which is a pretty hard task at hand. He quickly got on the wave and signed players like Cold, one of the best in NA. Peterbot, who was just fresh off some FNCS wins.
What is this? Take off the Peterbot!
And Bucke. He also signed Scented.
I mean, bro, for how big Peter was for Agent, I think Bucke was almost like as equally important to Agent. Like, or even maybe more.
A Fortnite OG and even Ocus, one of the best controller players on the scene. And by February of 2024, Agent was stacked. Rad even moved them all into a zero ping mansion where Scented and Rad were vlogging religiously. Bucke was streaming and enjoyed his life in his own ways while stacking bread on top of bread. And Peterbot was doing Peterbot things. What else is new? There's not much to say there.
I don't know, we good. I smell like shit right now. I look like shit. I haven't showered today all my life.
You just made 100K.
I don't give a shit, bro. I'm gonna win by 250 points. I won by like 440, bro.
Was this the Grim Gate season?
To foster a family-like environment, and wanted to continue to pump viral content out every single chance he got. And to be fair, he actually kind of did that. For a moment, not only did it look like a paradise for content.
I mean, this is the thing, if you have like a caliber of player like Peterbot on your team, you literally are just gonna milk him as much as you can. And that's exactly what they did. And like, it was smart, it worked.
But how something seems to look from the outside is not always how it looks internally. See, everyone knows that running an org is not cheap whatsoever. And there were statements from some people in the house that Rad's finances were pretty shaky from day one, even though they were sponsored by an NFL player, Dexter Lawrence. And according to some players, his finances were so bad, he didn't even pay them what he owed them in his contracts.
I heard about that too. I saw
way
this.
too much money. That's all I should be focused on, right? I shouldn't have to be worried about paying for a fucking house. I shouldn't have to be worried about being on the lease of a house. I shouldn't be worried about taking care of a house. I shouldn't have to be worried about taking care of an organization. I shouldn't have to be worried about putting money up for a house, putting money up for an organization. That's not the type of stuff that I should be worried about, bro.
The guys in that house.
I mean, that's low-key like valid too right there though, bro. Like, I don't know if you guys can see Bucke here, but bro, like Bucke was the one saying that. But Bucke literally, what's it called? Bucke had to be the one that was like paying for half of the house, I'm pretty sure, while being like a member of the org. I don't even think he was an owner or nothing.
Just covered some of the
That's where he was just on the org and he like had to help pay for the house and stuff.
His content stuff. So in simple terms for you Fortnite kids, players were not getting paid at all. Rad was footing bills with money he just didn't have.
I mean, they were getting
He
paid a
was
little bit, I
rapidly
think,
burning
but
through his savings. So now the pressure was
not as
on.
much as they should have.
Sponsors
I don't think it was
were
like very consistent
materializing,
pay.
Content wasn't bringing enough cash flow, and the team's trust in Rad was diminishing by the minute. So by mid-2024, all of the issues exploded at the exact same time.
$37,000 each for attending the ESL tourney. Rad ruined our chance of getting $37,000 each just because he wanted to screw us over.
It was made known.
Wait, what?
Agent
I heard that clip before, but I low-key don't remember it. What was the context of that?
was on the brink.
Why would Rad not want them to go
So
to that?
Sensing this instability, a new South African org that has, funny enough, also
Was this
shut down
EXD?
now, stepped in and bought out Agent completely. Exceed offered Agent's players a way out, better support, the same mansion with it all covered, and real salaries. So after being faced with broken promise after broken promise from Rad,
shortly after
players
this,
got a
Peter
lifeline
left
from
though,
a seat
right?
that they all took instantly. On July 26th, 5 of Agent's top players, Bucke, Peterbot, Scented, Ocus, and Quanti, jumped ship all the way over to Exceed. The craziest part of all this was that they kicked Rad out of the house.
I remember
effectively
that.
Ending Rad's entire dream overnight. For Rad, this was the ultimate betrayal. The guys he lived with, grinded
That's
with,
where he wasn't
and
even that
envisioned
upset about
his
this,
future
though.
with, basically just said screw
Right,
you,
or
you
no?
are kicked out of the house. And we're kicking Agent in the dirt with you. Rad later said he poured everything into the team only to see them do this to him. And later, he also admitted he understand why they left, but it hurts, and he wished things went different. But from the players' perspective, they believe Rad had betrayed them first by failing to pay them a dime and holding up his end of the deal. They stuck with it for a few months, hoping he'd come through. Instead, they watched their bills pile up with no way out. Not even a launch pad could get him out of this one, realistically. They knew Agent was a sinking ship after months of instability, so who wouldn't try to jump ship to try to find a more stable future?
Bro, like the thing about Agent is I feel like Rad was really smart in the content. He just didn't have the money to back up his visions of what he was trying to do. Like if Agent had like unlimited money and like unlimited funding, they would probably be like even bigger than like they were at the time. I think they would 100% still be around today, but they just didn't have enough funding, unfortunately.
The collapse of Agent turned into open warfare online. Rad was scrambling to save his face and brand by putting out a YouTube video titled Let's Talk, featuring himself, Bucke, and Scented sitting down together. On camera, they kept things pretty civil and tried to explain everything to the fans. Rad apologized for the mistakes he made and took blame for being over his head. Bucke and Scented, who were officially Exceed players, chose their words carefully. It was like divorced parents breaking the news to their kids, maintaining a tense but polite vibe throughout the video. But when the cameras stopped rolling, honesty really came out.
Whatever streams I did in Mexico, bro, I don't remember. I don't know what the I said. I don't know. Was it bad? What did I say, bro?
On his Twitch stream, Bucke
Wait, what was that about?
Like at all. Rad owed them tens of thousands of dollars to them. And not to mention how they were being played on string like puppets by Rad. In one of Bucke's most heated streams, Bucke went even as far to say that Rad was acting like the victim now, but he literally scammed them all. Bucke and Scented covered for him and still made minimal effort to fix anything.
But yeah, Scented was already on the org and, you know, kind of re-signed him. He didn't really re-sign, but he was gonna stay. But yeah.
In the house. He didn't want Ocus in the house. Wait, what is he saying? He was gonna re-sign. No Scented was gonna re-sign. He tried to cut him. And I was the one who said Scented is a great addition to the house. He tried to cut him.
And later in a Bucke and Scented stream, they mentioned that the what actually happened to Agent video was a public sob story that Rad put out in hopes to save his reputation. He tried to portray himself as a guy who was trying to build something great, but got in over his head. In his eyes, the players betrayed him. In the players' eyes, Rad was scamming them all. But who knows who was really right?
Yeah.
But as stuff unraveled, it looks like Rad may have actually just been playing victim. He lost the very mansion that was the Agent house. And Agent was left as an org with nobody essentially, unless you count Rad. So as anyone would do, Rad
Is Agent still like a thing nowadays, or is like Agent fully done?
Over, or is he tried sparking a comeback, and truthfully, the aura, as some would say, was gone. Agent's name was now tarnished with the legacy of drama, scamming, and failure. But enough Rad, let's talk about the beef that was happening in the house after everyone left for Exceed. Initially, it seemed like everyone had won. New org, stable pay, and the keys to a multi-million-dollar mansion.
Yeah, I actually, bro, I literally, like, I need to hear what he has to say right here, because I have no clue what happened to Exceed, bro. Like, I swear that org was just going to be like Agent 2.0, and then they just
It was
disappeared.
supposed to be a fresh start with no scamming or money problems, turned into a nightmare pretty fast. But what could go wrong, right? Well, plenty as it turns out. The house dynamics soured fast. Peterbot, the recently turned 18-year-old prodigy, was not exactly an ideal roommate. Soon after moving
He moved
in,
out pretty sure, I'm
started
pretty sure.
flying out from everyone about Peter's hygiene and habits. Bucke and others claim Peter just refused to do basic chores, left trash and food everywhere, and even messed with the thermostat settings, constantly making it hot in everyone's room.
He was controlling, he was so
I
controlling
remember
on the
this.
AC. We had to fucking try to work with him on that. So weird about the whole AC thing. Every single time he would go out the room, he would say, "F you, pie, you're broke, I'll buy you." The shit that he would say to Okas was
How much of like the stuff was he saying here, like jokes, or like how much of this was he being like dead serious? Because like obviously we know like boys and like friends and everything can like troll with each other and joke and things like that, but like did it get to the point where it wasn't
My
jokes
hands are
anymore?
freezing. Like, I turn the AC off, and then someone just turns it right back on, bro. It's just like Bucke and Pyler are just so old, so they sweat 50 times more than I do.
And they live in Texas, so it's not exactly cold there. It's one of the most humid places.
Yeah,
in
nah,
the
him
US.
turning the AC
Texas
off
that had
while
been
they live in
regular
Texas
bad
is
now
kinda
shifted
crazy.
Towards how Exceed's dream house was now turning into a frat house. Plus Peter. One day on stream, Bucke let
That
loose
was
about
true,
Peterbot's
too.
behavior.
and talk it out with him. It's not that serious. That was the whole problem. Is I could not talk to him. He ghosted me, every single roommate. He muted our group chat. He wasn't talking to anyone. No one could talk to him.
That's when he dropped the now infamous line about the clogged toilet. He said, "I'm not his dad. I shouldn't have to clean up after Peter." He painted a picture
That's
of
true.
Peter as an entitled kid with zero life skills who thought being a Fortnite pro excused him from basic adulthood. Pretty harsh words to say to a kid that was living by himself for the first time at just 17. The EXD house was nasty, and he blamed Peter for this. They even leaked pictures of his bedroom online. But nobody brings up Peter's side.
I
He was
mean,
in a house where
but like if that's in his own room, I don't feel like it matters too much. But like I kind of see what Bucky's saying, but like at the same time, like Peter was still a kid at the time, but I mean Bucke shouldn't have to, like Bucke didn't have to be his dad, but like he did have to be like a role model to a certain extent for him.
The house
But I
slowly
understand if
started
Peter was
to
just like
stop feeling
not
like
really
a
listening to
pro
what they said.
Fortnite house or content house, and more like a weekend frat pre-game spot. The late night parties were practically routine now. Music blasted through walls, and random people, sometimes other pros in the scene, would show up unannounced to party. There were even rumors of fights breaking out over small things like stolen food. Some of the players even stopped scrimming and practicing because they were so busy recovering from hangovers or just not home at all from time to time.
Dude, he felt like a little brother for a little bit until I had Huz over and he put the AC on 900 degrees.
People would be stumbling out of bed at
Yeah, I mean, I think Peter was also just a little bit too young for like compared to the rest of the ages in the house. Like for his priorities, for Peter's priorities during the time of the house was not the same as the rest of the people there. Like he shouldn't have been there. Like
loud noise all night.
he was just too
And the
young
list
for the
goes
house.
on and on. Peter wasn't just dealing with dirty looks, but living in chaos essentially. And while it was never confirmed on camera, multiple pros hinted that some of the players used the house as a way to host free parties and social gatherings involving things we would rather not say. To be fair, you need to see both sides of it.
What is he
Everyone
talking?
was doing
What
something
does that
wrong,
mean?
But nobody wanted to admit what they were doing was
What is he trying to hint out here? Like what could they have possibly
Anyways,
been doing?
Peter, after hearing Bucke airing out his dirty laundry, literally to thousands online, was pissed. He jumped on the stream and gave his side of the story. He mentioned things like how they turned on him unfairly. They claimed he was being ganged up on and how they were exaggerating everything to make him look bad. And although he admitted he wasn't the neatest person, he felt airing him out like that online didn't really fit for what was actually happening. The drama hit a real boiling point later on, when Peter was asked to leave the Exceed house. He had gotten kicked out just months after they all moved in.
Wait, he got
The
kicked
crazy
out?
part is the amount of videos and vlogs everyone put out in the house whenever he won FNCS and tournaments, essentially gaining views and money off of his name. They had him in vlog after vlog and included him in activities, and who all knows the real reason why. But one can infer that
Wait,
they
what?
knew including him inside of videos meant gaining more views, treating him like a child instead of a teammate. Yes, he admitted he wasn't the neatest person, but he felt the punishment didn't fit the crime. And instead of talking it over and squashing the beef, the drama hit a boiling point when everyone in the Exceed house asked Peter to leave. And it wasn't so much like, bro,
Dang, I didn't know they
find a new
kicked him
crib.
out.
It was more of a, bro, find a new crib, you're kicked out. So just months after they had all moved in together, they already kicked out one member. First it was Rad for obvious reasons, now it was Peter for apparently not being a good roommate. How does a Fortnite champion end up getting evicted from his own org's team house? The answer will depend on who you ask. Bucky and the rest of the guys will say Peter brought it on himself with his behavior. Peter would say his teammates betrayed him and drove him out over minor issues. And it's worth noting, the final decision wasn't purely internal. Apparently Peter's own parents had gotten involved as well.
I heard
yeah,
about
that's right.
this too.
Peter's mom apparently complained about the house's environment, as well as when she came
think that was
in
Peter's
person to drive Peter
dad.
home. So it's wild to look at how Bucky's version of the story made Peter out to be a bad roommate and dirty, while Peter's mom felt her son was being mistreated, and Bucky didn't have any regrets saying anything on stream. He was just laughing.
Bro, like, they're just being weird to my parents every single stream. They're just talking about my parents. Like, what?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Like, who talks about other people's parents? Like, what? That's just weird. First of all, how does the shit get in my toilet after I leave?
They were friendly when they teamed up to leave Agent, but now Bucky was just quick to
Yeah,
throw Peter
I
out.
mean, if like obviously they can be talking about like Peter directly, like even though Peter was still like a child at the time, like I guess you could think that's weird, but like if they were saying things directly like weird in terms of Peter's parents, then that's definitely like really uncalled
That's
for.
just like he did with Rad. Now take that as you interpret it, but there's definitely a common denominator in both issues here if you ask me. The Peterbot and Bucky beef was spilling on the X, Reddit, and overall everywhere. To back Bucky up though, there were some pros that claimed they saw this coming given Peter's young age. But others criticized Bucky for not mentoring the 17-year-old kid, rather than just making the beef public. So Bucky and Peter went from kicking Rad out and getting a new org to sponsor their house, to now beefing because they hated each other at the house now. But Peter's living just fine now. He's actually living with Pollo. Ironically, they're both fighting it out off spawn right now and living in the same house. But it's good for them for not making it personal IRL and keeping the video game beef inside the video game. That's not something easy to do, so I need to give flowers to Peter where it's due. Now, if you think the Peter and Bucky drama was sane for this one house, here's another insane thing.
Wait, but I swear, wait, is he done talk? Bro, I swear like Peter and Bucky and all them are cool now. Like I swear I've literally seen them play together multiple times, like play basketball and stuff together. I swear this drama is like over, right?
Yes, by giving you 3 hints. It involved Bucky and his girlfriend and Pilot. It involves some cheating, and I'm not talking about cheating using ChatGPT to write.
This is something that I
Okay,
also
that should've
heard
been a
about, but
pretty
I don't really know the
easy
full
guess,
context of
but
it.
Bucky's old girlfriend essentially cheated on Bucky for Pilot. And the craziest part of this all was that Bucky and Pilot are literally brothers. And as a brother, you trust your brother and not expect him to go behind your back and do something weird.
Brother?
Well, it turns out
What does he mean they're
was getting
brothers?
really friendly with
Like-
Bucky's girlfriend at the time. And this
I
was
don't
the
think
same
Pilot and
girl
Bucky are.
Bucky had-
Wait, does he mean like brothers as in like really close friends, or brothers as in like blood brothers? Because I'm like 99% sure they're not blood brothers, but
previously, and their breakup was fresh. And by all accounts, Bucky was still her over this. And now his roommate, one of his boys, and most importantly his brother, was hooking up with her. When Bucky found out, he quite literally exploded. On stream, Bucky was just pacing back and forth in his room like a
this was weird for Pilot to
his hands
do.
on his hair.
But
just
I mean, I
loose.
think they're cool now.
He
Like
even
they got
said the
over
most
it.
heartbreak thing I might have ever heard. I put a roof over your head and you stank me like this. In that moment, Bucky was no longer a 19-year-old Fortnite streamer, but a frustrated 19-year-old kid that felt like he'd been stabbed in his heart by his brother and friend. In a video put online, Bucky fans saw a side of him not many fans have ever seen. Tears of rage and heartbreak with anger flowing out of him like never before. He cursed Pilot on stream and even said, quote unquote, "You're actually dead to me, Pilot. Don't ever speak to me again." Nice. Not what you want to hear from your own brother after messing up. For a third time in recent memory, Bucky had lost someone close to him again. And by this time, it felt like the
Dude,
ultimate-
low-key, Bucky has been through a lot over the past like couple of years at this point. Like what? He was originally in that old house that he had with like Pilot and someone else was there. I don't remember exactly who. He ended up getting kicked out of Copenhagen, had the whole like rise of Agent, the fall of Agent, had the whole drama with Pilot. Like he's been going through it, bro.
The ripple
I
effects
respect
were
Bucke,
immediate
though.
within the Exceed house. Trust was lost between almost everyone that remained. If there were any thoughts of letting Peter come back to the house, it was gone by now. The atmosphere was toxic, so Pilot packed his things and left in disgrace. Some say he was kicked out by Exceed's management, while others says he left to avoid further conflict. Bucke took a short hiatus from streaming after this incident as well. The emotional toll on him was heavy. So now Peterbot is doing Peterbot things, just grinding and winning FNCSs, and he's even matured. Recently saying this about clicks.
Bro, he deserves to win an FNCS at some point. It doesn't matter. Like everyone deserves their moment. Kanata took Kanata 30 FNCS to win one, bro.
Yo.
Bro, that's
Why do we just
bro? No,
why do we
bro,
just
everyone
catch
has
this
their
shit?
moment, bro.
Nah,
like,
you're right.
It only
Like
took
Bucke.
us 8 years
Bucke
and
had his.
Yamzo and Grimp to fucking win an
I
FNCS.
had more than a moment, brother.
Why does that feel like such a
Places
backhanded
fucking primed,
compliment?
bro. Like that's all there is to it. He's primed. Their whole trio's primed. All of us are conned. Like, bro, like that's just how Fortnite is.
I mean,
That's
that
why
is true,
random
though.
People win FNCS sometimes because people are conned. People are primed. Like that's how the game works, bro.
Bucke is
That is
back
true.
playing Fortnite as usual, playing with Okus and other upcoming pros. He's still a fan favorite streamer and doing well from his end on Twitch. Rad tried streaming again and rebuilt Agent as an IRL or trying to become a sideman or phase in terms of IRL content. He doesn't really do gaming stuff anymore, but he seems to be doing well, so good for him. Scented has now put himself into the crypto and Web3 space, a move that isn't too surprising as Fortnite pros that have retired often follow the same path. Instead of grinding Fortnite,
I think all of them are
he's
like
grinding
cool
crypto
still.
market leaderboards
So
instead, and Pilot is
I
doing
mean-
Pilot things. He's streaming and making content again. And Exceed, most importantly, is gone. Nobody is in the org, and after
Yeah,
winning
what
FNCS
happened to
Globals,
Exceed?
They just started to slowly disappear. Nobody really knows where the owner went, but the owner
okay.
is known to go MIA from time to time. Some would say all that drama.
Wait, did Exceed end up paying them or did Exceed also scam them too? I mean, that was a pretty cool video, you know? I mean, there was a couple of things that I was a little bit questioned about, like the facts and everything. But that was a pretty informative video. I mean, overall though, I think pretty much all of these guys are cool again. I've literally seen like Bucke and Pilot do streams with each other. Peter pretty much talks to like all of them again, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there is like still crazy drama between these guys. But other than that W video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Do what it says above my head. Please use code KDOG in the item shop if you guys want to support me even more. YouTube says I'm enjoying one of these videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.